Hello, this is Tannika Nikeya. Welcome to my channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share to others for encouragement. I was going through watching TikToks, and I came across the lady who played in the TV show. I believe it's called Blossom. Yeah, if you've ever watched Blossom growing up. Well, on her TikTok, she had a lot of TikToks concerning mental health, and it got me to thinking about my own mental health journey, and some of the things that I struggle with. And one of them, if you've ever been on my Instagram or read my blog posts, I do talk about anxiety. That is one thing that I struggle with, is less anxiety. Another is, however, I have not been medically diagnosed, but based on the symptoms, I've come to realize that it is OCD. So with the and she had a TikTok about OCD, and I could relate. With the OCD, a lot of people think OCD is just basically someone constantly obsessing over being clean or cleaning up or washing their hands, but it's so much more in depth. OCD, let me find the definition. Hold on. Obsessive compulsive disorder features a pattern of unwanted thoughts and fears, in parentheses, obsessions, that lead you to do repetitive behaviors. Compulsions is in parentheses. These obsessions and compulsions interfere with daily activities and cause significant distress. And then it goes further. It talks about leading to more ritualistic behavior, and it talks about the symptoms, and it comes down to examples of obsession. Signs and symptoms include, and one of the things that it said was doubts that you've locked the door or turned off the stove. Boom. I I would leave out, and I have a habit of turning the knob to make sure it's locked. A couple of times, maybe a few. I have to count it one day. Or I may lock the door, walk away, but I'll feel compelled to walk back and check it. Or how about making it all the way to the bus, and you have a thought in your head, like, you locked the door, or you feel like you've locked the door, but I wonder if I locked the door. I wonder if I locked the door, and you thinking about it over and over again. What if I didn't lock the door? So I deal with that, and the stove. Oh my, my stove knobs are they're turned off, but they're kind of When in off mode, they're kind of crooked because I literally will check the stove every night, and the way I turn it to make sure it's off, it has to be all the way off. Um, so I'll check those knobs before I go to bed. I'll check the fridge to make sure it's closed most nights, but the stove, that is something that I do on a consistent basis. Like, I have to check the stove to make sure it's off. And I remember one time I said, "What?" My sister said years ago, "Why is the knobs crooked?" or something. She said something similar to that, and I went into, this is why they're crooked. I explained to her. I'm constantly checking it and turning them that way. But I did not know that me checking the knobs on the stove were OCD until, you know, my healing journey, asking those questions, sitting down and praying and asking God, reveal to me, what my trigger to anxiety are, what my, what triggers my anxiety, what triggers these behaviors, and as well as Googling and researching. But one reason why I believe the stove knobs, checking the stove knobs, making sure the stove is off, started, I believe that started from the time my family were in a fire. Our apartment filled up with pitch black smoke. I believe what was said that someone threw a cigarette or something through down the incinerator or whatever. I lived in a high rise around, I think it was, 12. And we were on the 9th floor. And I remember being up typing on my typewriter that my mom had got me. I was writing, typing a story rather. And I remember smelling smoke and getting up because my mom and my sister were asleep. And I got up and I think I went to the door first and opened the door. I could see a mist, like it was very faint, but you can see a mist of smoke. I closed the door and went and checked the stove. I don't know if I checked the stove. Yeah, I think I checked the stove after opening up the door, the front door. And I checked the stove to make sure the stove was off. I proceeded to go wake up my mom. And then she jumped up immediately. And like, Mama smelled smoke. She jumped up immediately and I think she too may have went and opened up the door, checked, and the smoke was building by then, but she got us to the window, and my mom was like, "Let's just run down the stairs," but we didn't know where the fire was, so we made it to the window, and I don't know how long it took, but our apartment filled up with black smoke. It built very quickly. I remember us in, I believe it was my mother's bedroom. Um, I remember holding my sister, I believe it was two, and standing next to my mom. And I remember the ceiling coming down over our heads. And I mean, we were just screaming like help, because we didn't know if the building was collapsing at that point. You know, all we know is the ceiling falling down. My mother screaming out the window, um, come get my girls, I'll jump. Long story short, we were rescued. My sister was rescued by a fireman, helping her down the ladder out. Someone did come to get her out the window, off down the ladder, and my mom and I were rescued by firemen coming through the door, breaking through the door and coming to get us. Thank God for being here, being alive. But I do believe that was the moment the checking the doorknob started. I mean, the stove knobs started, and the doorknobs most likely as well. Yeah. So that is what I feel has triggered my OCD. Anxiety. I think anxiety has gone down the line of my family. I'm not the only one who has experienced or is said to experience anxiety in my family. So I definitely think this is generational. Um, you know, I don't remember when anxiety started, but looking back, I know I recognize some of my ailments and moments in college were due to anxiety. I literally would get sick to my stomach and would miss classes. You know, I couldn't miss too many, but I would be stressed and late for class or having to miss class because I would be super late and literally having stomach issues and always overthought. Dealt with anxiety attacks, the fear, long periods of stress, doubting myself, some bits of social anxiety, some bits of social anxiety, driving anxiety, literally feeling sick to my stomach. Certain places, certain people would trigger my anxiety, and I would literally feel either sick or overwhelmed. anxiety has been um, difficult at times, in a sense that sometimes people can't understand why you can't just up and go at times, or why you can't stop worrying, or and then you have um, anxiety um, shouldn't be you have some that would think that anxiety shouldn't be present if you have faith. But I think that it is my faith in God, my relationship with God. It is God Himself that helps me to navigate life despite having anxiety and OCD. It is my faith in God. It is God Himself that helps me to persevere. Um, there was one particular year, and I remember telling my mom, there was one particular year that it seemed like every day or every other day, and I want to be as accurate, it was like literally every day or every other day, I would wake up and I would cry, would not want to go to work. I would be overwhelmed. And I would have certain ailments that I just couldn't figure out why, or the doctor would say, well, these tests came back normal, you know, um, had leg issues for 1 minute, stomach issues, and I've typically had, stomach issues for a while since I was little, but at certain points in life, I do now looking back, I do realize that that was anxiety. I literally would get sick to my stomach, and I've had a couple of incidents where I've lost, to be candid, um, like sick to my stomach, literally, where my bowels are just like, yeah, you get to thinking where I'm going here. Um, thank God that part is over. Thank you, Jesus. But I thank God that despite dealing with anxiety and OCD, I am able to still live, still persevere. Some days are not easy. Um, certain things are embarrassing. Overthinking is exhausting. Um, did I do this right? Did I say this right? Did I do this enough? Um, you know, um, wasting time to go back and check this, and worrying about this thing and that thing. And yes, um, I acknowledge that mental illness is real. Um, the struggles are real. We are human. Um, um, some people have chemical imbalances. Some people, this is going down the line. Some people have trauma that lead to mental illness. But on the flip side, I do also acknowledge that yes, this is also um, a spiritual battle, and we still have to do our due diligence to um, to fight and to continue seeking God for deliverance and healing, and learn to trust God. I do believe that there is a lack of trust somewhere in there, but for those who say you must don't have any faith, or yeah, you must don't have any faith, or you gotta have faith. I'm still here, thank God, because of Him and the hope and the fight that He has placed inside of me. So every day that I get up, every day that I fight through a thought, and I don't always win, and every day that I learn to take every thought captive, I'm learning to trust Him, and learning what my triggers are, learning to heal from trauma, and learning to express myself, and learning to ask for help. It is a step-by-step process. It's a day-by-day journey. It's a one day at a time. And I give myself mercy as God has given me mercy. I take the grace that God has given me, and I will continue to try and press in one day at a time. This is Tannika Nikeya, and I'm out.